Hello everyone. For those that have just joined in, I think you should be able to see us. Finally, I'm Rizella. I'm here with Abul, Kat, and Carol, who will quickly introduce themselves, and we'll talk about Google Summer of Code with you today.
My name is Carol. I work at Google in the Open Source Programs Office, and I'm going to be talking to you about the Google Summer of Code program today, which I organize and manage.
My name's Kat Allman. I work with Carol in the San Francisco, California office, and I'm very eager to find out what kinds of questions you all have.
Hey guys, my name is Obum Ekeke. I work with the university programs team. I work closely with students and faculties in universities in Africa.
Okay, now that we have introduced ourselves, I think I'll hand it off to Carol that will tell us more about what Google Summer of Code is and how it works for students.
Yeah, so hi everybody. As I said, I run and manage the Google Summer of Code program. And basically, Google Summer of Code is a program that's intended to have university students work over the summertime, or the wintertime, depending on what hemisphere you're in, over the summertime with a open source organization. And at the start of the summer, Google chooses a group of open source software organizations that we want to work with outside of Google. And those organizations then choose student projects and proposals that they would like to have work over the summertime with them. The students are paired with mentors in the organizations. So they have a person who works with them directly all summer long. And it's all done online. So we administer the entire program from a website called Melange, which is at the URL Google, Google, dash Melange, MELANGE.com. And that's where we administer the whole program from. And when students and mentors are paired up, once the projects have been chosen and once the summer starts, the whole program happens online through IRC and mailing lists and chats online, which is great because it means that you can work from anywhere around the world on your Google Summer of Code project. There's some important dates that I'd like you guys to know about. The first is coming up soon that you might not be quite as interested in, but starting on February 27th, which is just next week, we're going to be having our open source organizations actually applying to participate in Summer of Code and to become mentoring organizations. The deadline for mentoring organization applications is on March 9th. So they have 2 weeks to apply. If you know any organizations, any open source software organizations that might be interested in participating, you should let them know and reach out to them and ask them to apply during that window. There's also, and then basically after that time, there's going to be a time when we're going to choose our mentoring organizations. And then from there, we're going to be letting students talk to the organizations which are chosen about the projects that they'd like to work on. And then the really important dates that I'd like you guys to pay attention to are when the student application period opens, because I think most of you are probably going to be students. So that date is March 26th. That's when we start accepting student applications. And that's when, if you are interested in participating in Google Summer of Code, you should make sure that you have at least thought about or started an application with an organization and reached out to an organization that you'd like to work with. And the last couple of dates that I'd like to tell you about is April 6th. So between March 26th and April 6th is when you can apply, and April 6th is the last day that you can apply for Google Summer of Code. So be sure to pay attention to that deadline. And then the last date that I think you'll all be interested in is basically April 23rd, which is when we announce what students are going to be participating in Google Summer of Code this year. We had 1,115 students participate last year, and that's a great number of students, and we'd like to see a similar number this year. And so we're trying to reach out all over the world to students to get lots of students to apply and lots of students to participate this year. So with that, I will hand it back off for questions, I think.
Okay. I haven't seen questions coming up yet, but I'd like to remind everyone, those that are seeing this, that you can post your questions on Google+. Simply enter the hashtag GSOC or refer to my own profile to post your questions there. So I think the first question is something that we were discussing earlier. Have we seen participation from Africa in open source projects in the past?
We have. We have seen students who have participated from Africa in the last 2 years that I know of, and I think even before that.
Great. And is there any particular tip or recommendation that Kat or Carol would like to share with students that are considering applying now?
So with regard to tips and general advice for students who'd like to apply, the place that I would direct you is our student manual. And I will post the link offline on my Google Plus post after this Hangout is done. But we have an online manual in which we've basically kind of laid out all the interesting information, all the tidbits, all the advice that we think that students would really benefit from. And that includes things like how to write a good project proposal and some examples of some proposals that have been accepted in the past, as well as advice from other students who have participated before and from mentors who have worked with students and have kind of seen what it's like to from the other's perspective and have offered some advice as well. So I would very strongly encourage you to go to Melange and look it over, which is where we administer the program from, and look at our FAQs. But then I would really strongly recommend that you read the student manual as well and get all the advice that we've put in that.
I'd like to jump in here since people are interested. I'm looking at the statistics for the last 7 years of the program, and so far we've had students participate from Rwanda, South Africa, Nigeria, Morocco, and Ghana. So, and Ghana. So obviously we've got, there's a lot of opportunity for people from other African countries to join in, which we hope you'll do. And based on looking at student applications last year, let me urge you very strongly to do as Carol said. I mean, read the instructions, read the background information, and really follow the instructions on the application period. Open source requires a lot of individual initiative. Part of success in the program is diving in and doing it yourself, doing the research, figuring out what you want, and going for it. It's a lot of fun, it's very exciting, and we really encourage you to take a shot, apply, see what happens.
Okay, thank you, Kat. I'd like Bob to comment a little bit on any tips or recommendation for students studying computer science, either on this opportunity of Summer of Code or other opportunities they should be looking at. Obum, any advice here?
Yeah, definitely. So apart from the Summer of Code competition, we also have other competitions and opportunities for students in Africa, especially sub-Saharan Africa. So we have the Google Code Jam competition. Registration for the Code Jam competition we open on 13th March. So that's like 2 weeks from now. So we encourage you to register for that competition as well. We also have the Google Online Marketing Challenge, which is open to all students. So irrespective of whether you are studying computer science or biology. That's already open. Registration is open until the 11th of May for all students. The good thing for the Online Marketing Challenge is that we also have a regional award for students in Africa and Middle East. Apart from the Online Marketing Challenge, we also have the Google Ambassador Program. We are accepting applications from students who want to represent Google on campus. into the Google Ambassador Program. The application for that, unfortunately, is ending next week, the 1st of March. So you still have enough time between now and the 1st of March to apply if you are interested in applying to the Google Ambassador Program. Of course, we will share more details about each of these programs after this Hangout.
Okay, great. So as Obum was saying, after this Hangout, we will be posting all the links and all the resources that were mentioned. So if you tuned in later or if you missed any bit or connection is broken, just stay tuned and watch Carol's profile page where she will post all the information. She will also post a link to a feedback form. So it's very important that you give us an idea of how useful this was for you and help us improve and let us know what are other topics that you'd like to hear about from Google. So please do take a look. I wanted to ask a question for to both Kat and Carol. What are the typical pitfalls that you see when students participate in this program so that they can avoid them?
Yeah, that's a really good question. One of the pitfalls that I see is that students basically engage the organization that they'd like to work with too late. We often see that students will wait until sometime in the middle of the application period to contact an organization and tell them that they'd like to work with them. And the not-so-secret way to get organizations interested in your project for Google Summer of Code is to contact those organizations as soon as they've been accepted and let them know that you're enthusiastic and that you're really interested in working in a project with them this year. And make it clear as well that you want to work on this project for them beyond the scope of Google Summer of Code, that you want to become a developer for this organization. That's the best way to really get involved with the organization and to get your project accepted is to get interested in these organizations as a whole and becoming a developer, either part or full-time, independent of Summer of Code. We're really looking for students who are enthusiastic about becoming developers for these organizations. Another common pitfall, which is kind of pretty obvious, is missing deadlines. So again, pay attention to the deadlines that I mentioned earlier. Unfortunately, every year we have students who miss the deadline for applying by a few hours or whatever, or their internet connection breaks or what have you. So I would really suggest that what you do is you submit a proposal very early in the application process, and then you refine that proposal over the course of the application period instead of waiting till the last minute to submit it, because anything could happen and we don't want to miss your proposal.
I think Carol has said it all. That's perfect advice.
So there you go.
I think another question that I wanted to ask Obum is, are there any places on site at people that would be helpful to talk to at African universities?
Sorry, I didn't get that, Louiselle.
So I wanted to ask you if you can point out people in African universities that students could talk to about this program and another Google program and get more information from their fellow students.
Oh, definitely. So I mentioned the Google Student Ambassador Program. We have student ambassadors in about 28 universities in Africa, and we are expanding to more countries. So definitely, if you are in one of the universities, especially in Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Uganda, South Africa, and Rwanda, if you are in one of those universities, you should look out for students who are Google ambassadors on your campus. They have all this information, and they will be able to share with you. Apart from the student ambassadors, we also have in some universities a community of student developers who have started the Google Technology User Groups called GTalks. So these student developers have information, and we encourage a lot of them to participate in programming-related competitions. So there will definitely be a good community to reach out to. for more information about this sort of events. Then in some countries, so Nigeria and Ghana, next month, we are going to be holding the G Days, G Nigeria and G Ghana. So if you're a student, developer, we encourage you to register for the event if you haven't registered already.
Okay, for those that are students and developers also, we'd like to highlight that there is a particular opportunity for you to get coding and starting on Google technology coming up very soon in Uganda, in Nigeria, and in Ghana, and they're called Google Plus Hackathons. So these are one whole day of coding hands-on with the Google experts and fellow developers from your city. And then it would be great if you want to participate. Just stay tuned. We're going to send out all of this information afterwards. Sign up, don't hesitate, and we're going to have some cool awards in the end. So at the end of the hackathons, we'll do a cross-country competition. The best application developed during this day will win a ticket to go to Google's developer conference in San Francisco, US. It's called Google I/O. So we will award the ticket to go there. And then we will also have some other cool prizes for the runner-ups. So don't hesitate to join one of these hackathons that are coming up.
Prizes.
Very cool. And then, have you been to this conference before, Carol and Kat?
No, I haven't. I have never been lucky enough to actually get a ticket. So if somebody else got a ticket and wanted to give it to me, that would be great. But it's a great prize.
Yeah, I got to go once, and it was so fun and so interesting. So definitely pursue that.
Great. So the one is coming up in Uganda on 17th of March, and 10th of March. Lagos, Nigeria, 17th of March. Accra, Ghana, 21st of March. So do sign up. And I wanted to open once again if there are any questions. So I think there is one that is from Ashri. Is asking, what programming language do I need to be good at for most of your projects?
So the answer is it depends. What I would recommend is that you wait until the organizations that are going to be participating this year are published, and then you look around that list and then decide which organizations you think you'd be most interested in working with, and then contact that organization specifically and ask them what programming languages they use in their development. The number of languages and the breadth of languages vary pretty widely. We have Perl and Python and Ruby and C++ and Java and JavaScript and a whole bunch of different programming languages that different organizations use depending on what their development is like. So again, I would recommend that you contact the organizations that you're most interested in working with directly and talk to them about what your skills are, and then see if that's a good match for you in terms of what your programming language knowledge is already.
Okay, cool. Any other advice from anyone else on the panel? Any programming language that you feel more strongly about?
Yes.
I am program language agnostic, so.
So for competitions like CodeJam, we are not very particular about the programming language. The key thing there is that whatever compiler you use must be widely available.
Okay. I'm not sure I could hear. Yeah, can you still hear me? I think so. For other on-site competitions like the Google Plus Hackathons, so those coming up in Uganda, Ghana, and Nigeria, it's really, you should look up the Google Plus API and see what works best with it. Based on my experience, what we have seen so far, people mostly are working with Java and Python, but then again, it's really up to you. And it's a good place to start, the Google Plus API Help Center at google.com/plus to read about example documentation, programming languages recommended. Okay, there if there are any other questions from the audience. I don't think so.
Well, I will be posting that Post Plus right after we end this Hangout, so there will be resources available for all the students, and I'll post that on my personal Plus page as well as on the Google Summer of Code Plus page as well. So those resources should be pretty readily available. And I think we're also available in IRC and email as well if students would like to reach out to us directly with questions.
Okay. Okay, very cool. So I think if there are no additional questions, just wanted to add that this video will be available for later on. Give us a couple of days, so we'll put it up. So stay tuned and watch Carol's page. And we'll also have a dedicated blog post on the Google Africa blog, which is google-africa.blogspot.com. And we'll let you know about any other way to learn about Google Summer of Code. Stay tuned and follow the hashtag GSOC on Google+. There are a ton of other opportunities to learn about coding at various Plus pages. One which you probably learn about is developers.google.com/events, where you can find out the events, the deadlines, and where they're happening, both online, like Hangout, like here, or on-site, like hackathons or G-Days or events coming up. So with this, I think if no other questions, I think we can call it off. And I'd like to say thank you to everyone for joining us. I hope you had fun, and I hope this was useful. And thank you for those watching, and let's talk soon on Google+. See you later.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Happy days. Bye.